You're listening to the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast with host Kevin Jefferson. This is the number one podcast for African American real estate professionals who are doing extraordinary things. It's time to tune in. And now, your host, the People's Lender, Kevin Jefferson.
Welcome to Real Estate Proverbs. I'm your host, Kevin Jefferson, and today we have a special guest by the name of Domonique Maddox. Dominique, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing unbelievable. I appreciate the opportunity to join you today.
Hey, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So how I found Dominique was he happened to be meeting with someone I knew by the name of Dominique. And when I read what he did, I said, I need to call this guy and talk to him because I've been in the industry for 17 years and I've never heard of anyone specializing in what you have in terms of real estate. So tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, my name is Domonique Maddox. I'm the founder and president of Restaurant Brokerage. I help people buy and sell restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. The only thing that I do is if it involves food, I'm a foodie. So that's the only thing that I touch. If it's a gas station, I don't sell it. If it's the dry cleaners, I don't sell it. So I really specialize and stay in my own lane when it comes to restaurant brokerage.
Gotcha. What if it's a gas station with a restaurant inside, like a Blimpies?
Yeah, I could do the Blimpies, but I wouldn't deal with the
gas station.
The gas station, exactly.
Gotcha. So Dominique, where are you originally from?
So I'm born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska, and yes, there are Black people in Alaska. I lived there for 18 years. My family started moving up to Alaska in the 40s. And I got a football scholarship to Morehouse College. I played running back. So I was really blessed to get a football scholarship, but I'm an Alaskan guy that has converted to a Georgia peach.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So let's dive in. How did you get into real estate? What was your start?
That's a great question. I've always been the type of person that I like to bet on myself. I mean, graduating out of Morehouse College with a business management degree, I went into a position of 100% commission at New York Life. I started as a life insurance agent coming out of college just because I like the training. I like the aspect that I can make a lot of money. Well, after I did that, I went into refinancing homes with AmeriQuest Mortgage Company back in the stated days. In the 13 to 15% interest rates we were giving people. And the market crashed. We had the Great Recession in 2008. I said, well, look, if the recession is happening now and all these people with real estate license are probably going to get out of the business, why don't I get my real estate license so when the market bounces back, I can be established. So I got in the market in 2008. And I was selling homes for $10,000, $15,000 in Atlanta. And I sold real estate for 2 years. And I knew that I didn't like residential real estate. It just wasn't me. I'm very analytical. I like numbers. I like business aspect. I thought residential was very emotional. And I was looking for an opportunity to get into commercial real estate. And the interesting aspect is the opportunity found me. I received an email said, hey, have you ever thought about selling restaurants? I'm like, sure. If I didn't get a football scholarship, I was going to try to become a chef and go to culinary art school. So I said, hey, it sounds interesting. I want to get out of residential. And I did an interview with them. I got hired. I worked for them for 7 years. And I left last year to start my own brokerage firm, Restaurant.
Wow. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. That's awesome. I guess you can, as a foodie and someone who is looking to aspire to be a chef, I guess you understand, what a good restaurant is and some of the integral parts that could help sell a restaurant.
I do. I mean, I was a sous chef when I was in high school at an athletic club, and I was also a waiter. So I understand about being in the restaurant industry. My wife is a GM, so she's been in the restaurant industry for multiple years. So my daughter, understands the operational side of it, but she also hears me talking about the exit side and the selling side of the business.
Gotcha. So tell us a little bit about, you said you were in the, you were brought on by this company. We're not going to name any names. And
Exactly. Yeah.
then last year you decided to start your own. How did that look from transitioning from working for someone else to getting into your own brokerage?
Well, I'm in a people's business, so it really doesn't matter what company I'm with. People are going to do business with a person that they like and a person that they feel is knowledgeable. So all my leads that I was getting, I was creating myself. So I already knew that I knew how to do the business. And I looked at it. I just didn't jump into starting my own brokerage. I had been looking and studying for about a year before I even actually went into the business. And even when I launched my brokerage, I had so many different things that went wrong. Like one of the biggest things that went wrong, I tried to go cheap and I tried to have a developer build my website. The developer was in India. And gave him a couple thousand. I said, I'm getting a great deal. My website was up for 2 weeks and the guy disappeared on me. Wow. So that's how I started my business, is with a website that disappeared in 2 weeks.
Wow. Wow. So, like I said, I mean, I've been in real estate on the residential side for like 17 years, and I've never heard of a restaurant broker. So like, how many of you guys are in the, Georgia area, period?
In the Georgia area, there's only 5 restaurant brokerage firms, and there's only less than 10 restaurant brokers that do it full time in the state of Georgia. Wow. And there's only 1 Black restaurant broker, which is myself, in the state of Georgia, that does this full time.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. So
it's kind of like a secret, fraternity that most people don't even know about. When I ask people, most people know, 5 to 10 real estate agents very quick. Boom, 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 boom. But when you ask, name a restaurant broker, they say you're the only one I know.
Wow. So how are you marketing your business? Like, what things are you doing to attract clients to you?
Well, I have a lot of open conversations and honest conversations. Like, I just talked with a franchise owner and he said, Dominique, you're a startup. You only have 10 restaurants. Why would we list with you? And I told him the biggest thing is I'm going to make you a priority when it comes to every day. I'm going to wake up thinking about selling your location. So we're in a people's business. They want to work with people that know the business, that's knowledgeable, and also get the sales results. And that's how I've been able to step out on my own. I've been doing this 8 years. I worked with a big company for 7 years. But 7 years, I've been building my name up under a certain company, and it was time for me to be my own boss.
Wow, that's amazing, man. So in terms of, gaining business and obviously, people interviewing you to like, know, and trust you, what have been some hurdles in terms of obtaining, these restaurants to sell?
That's a good question. One big thing is that when I first started, I didn't have a lot of listings. So someone will go on your website and say, okay, actually, how many listings do you have? Or how many restaurants have you actually sold? Well, now I'm actually starting to get to the point, because it takes an average of 6 to 8 months to sell a restaurant. So even when I started last year, I knew it was going to take time to actually sell and get results. So a lot of it has just been on me building a good reputation and my goodwill and my name so far of why people have actually trusted me. And also I'm very knowledgeable when it talks to breaking down of how to sell a restaurant, how we should market it, how I would market the business, how I work with buyers and sellers. So that's really helped me.
Wow. So how do you price a restaurant? So, in residential real estate, there's comparables of houses in the neighborhood within a certain mileage, and they have to be like, no 2 restaurants are alike, not even some franchises. So how does that, how do you price a restaurant?
There's only 2 ways to price a restaurant. One is the most profitable way based off the tax returns and the P&Ls, meaning that you're selling someone a paycheck. You buy this location, you're going to make $70,000 every year that you buy this location. That's how you get the highest valuation. Right now, because of COVID, most of the sales that you see on the market, I would say about 80% are going to be asset sales, where you're selling a business, pennies on the dollar, it's not profitable, or hasn't been established for a couple of years. So you can't sell it based off the financial numbers. So you have to sell it on just the equipment and the goodwill of the location.
Gotcha. So typically, if it's let's say it's a mom and pop, family owned business, do they pay for the names of the rights to that business, or are they buying the assets, like you say, and the location?
Depends. It depends, because if I get a listing like that, you can advertise it as keep or convert. You can keep this concept, or you can come in and convert it to your own concept. Since it's already a restaurant, you could throw some new paint, throw a new sign up, and be in business quickly with your own concept. So it really just depends on what the buyer wants when they're buying the location. What you're going to see happening now is that a lot of these franchises are going to come in for these independently owned restaurants that were closed down, and they're going to come in and convert that concept to a franchise because it's already built out. They can save money on the build out because it's a second generation restaurant space.
Right. So why would someone go in the restaurant business now when you see them closing down? Example, I saw a news study last week that says that Ruby Tuesdays is closing down 185 restaurants. So, why would someone want to start a restaurant in this uncertain climate where people are going out less?
It's opportunity for one. They say when stocks dip, that's when you buy. Restaurant prices have dipped. Restaurant prices, you can get a restaurant anywhere from 25 to 50% less than what you could have got it for in January, just because of the situation that's happening right now. So that's the biggest thing, is opportunity. Second thing is a lot of people always have had the fantasy of owning a restaurant. I have a recipe. I have an idea. Well, if you do, this is the time, because a lot of people are getting out of the restaurants. A lot of spaces are coming available. A lot of people are looking at selling, and it's time to negotiate. It's a buyer's market right now.
Okay. So I am a huge fan of Bar Rescue.
Yes.
And I like to watch Bar Rescue, and I like to watch the one with Robert Irvine. Yep. Do you ever, I know that's not exactly what you do, but do you ever look at shows like that and say, if they did it this way, it may grow, or, hey, call me so I can sell your restaurant if you don't make it after the show?
All the above. I'm definitely always looking for leads, always prospecting. But at the end of the day, I like restaurants to be successful. I hope people don't have to contact me. I actually like when people contact me a year or two before they want to sell, so I can tell them, hey, these are the things that I would do with your financial numbers to get you the best price when you want to exit the business. The problem that people have when they come into the restaurant industry is they don't have an exit strategy. What are you going to do when it's time to sell? Or 2 years before it's time to sell, how are your taxes going to look? These are things that some people aren't looking at. A lot of times people contact me when it's too late, when, they're behind on their payments, or their sales dip, or, they let their accounting write off everything for tax purposes. And then when I look at the tax returns, I can't give them the best price valuation. So these are things that I like a lot of people just to reach out to me and just get some general information.
Right. So with the experience that you have as being a sous chef, working in the restaurant industry, your wife being a GM, you being a restaurant broker, if a business called you and they were looking to sell, have you ever looked at the business and said, hey, if you tweak these items, you may not have to go out of business. You just may need to, do some things differently in terms of consulting them on how to, continue to grow their business? Or is that something you don't get into?
Yeah, I don't get into that. I'm looking at more of a valuation standpoint of the percentage wise, like their food costs, their labor costs is, what's the rent costs, any add backs that I can do, any expenses that go away once they sell their business, if they're writing off stuff, if they're paying personal health insurance, I'm trying to add that to the bottom line. So I'm more analyzing their businesses. I want to find out what's the true owner benefit that they receive every year from owning this business.
Gotcha. So a lot of times, I guess I ask, when you're selling the business, typically does the building come along with the business, or is it just the content and the name of the business that comes along with the sale?
Yeah, 95% of the transactions, it's just you're selling the equipment and the rights to the lease. Because there's two transactions. One is with the buyer and the seller. They have to agree on a purchase price. And the second thing is that person has to get approved by the landlord. So they have to, give the documentations, became guarantor on the lease, and then they start paying the landlord a monthly basis on the lease.
Wow, that's amazing, man. So how can someone get into the commercial side of real estate? Because you're considered a commercial agent, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I have a real estate license. Georgia is a state that requires a real estate license. There's 33 other states that do not require a real estate license to sell a business. So I can literally sell. One of my biggest deals in 2018 was in Texas. 2017, my biggest deal was in Missouri, because those states don't require a real estate license to sell a restaurant in that state.
Wow, that's amazing.
To answer your question, go ahead.
I was going to say, so that's amazing. So technically you can sell in all 50 states.
No, there's 17 states that require you to have a license specific in that state, a real estate license. Most of them are located on the West Coast, but Georgia and Florida are two of the 17 states that require a real estate license. So I can't sell anything in Florida right now because I don't have a real estate license in that state.
Gotcha. So Dominique, if someone has a restaurant that they want to sell, or if anyone wants to get into commercial real estate or real estate in general, how can you be reached?
Well, you can come to my website at eatsbrokers.com. That's EATS brokers with the S.com, eatsbrokers.com. And that has all my contact information. Now, when it comes to someone, because there was really two questions right there. One is, how does someone get into the business? And it's hard to get into this business because there's very few brokerages that actually specialize in restaurants. You have a lot of business brokers, but I decided to become a restaurant broker because I wanted to specialize in something. And that's going to be the hardest thing. Honestly, I don't know how you get into the industry because a lot of the brokers, they're not bringing anybody on. They're not, if you contact them and say, hey, I want to join your brokerage, they're not going to let you join. It's just that simple.
Wow.
Honestly, the opportunity found me. So that's why I just kind of look at this as a sign from up above that, hey, eventually I'm going to bring minorities into the restaurant brokerage industry under my brokerage. And that's the end goal, because I know that if I would have left this industry, I don't know if there would have been another Black man that was in the restaurant brokerage industry. Because I don't know who was up next, because who would they join to get the training? That's the problem, is you can't get training in this industry.
Right. Like I said, I've never even heard of it.
Right.
You know, I've seen listings for restaurants in the MLS before, you know, little mom and pops, but never anyone who specialized in it. A lot of times, if it was listed by someone, it was listed by a friend of their family or by a commercial realtor who does, you know, anything, leases or whatever. So yeah, that's awesome, man.
The thing about this industry is it's the business brokerage industry. Most people don't get into this industry until they're anywhere from 50 to 55. I got into the industry when I was 29. I had my own brokerage at age 37. So I beat the curve and I bet on myself. The reason that there's not a lot of younger people in this industry is because it could take you up to 6 months before you get your first commission check. And most people can't survive financially that long. You know, they'll come in for a month and say, oh, it's hard, I can't do it. Or, you know, after 3 months go by, they haven't got a check. They're like, you know, I can't do it. So that's why you don't see a lot of younger people in the whole business brokerage industry.
Right. So, hey guys, if you're looking to purchase a restaurant, reach out to my man, Domonique Maddox at Eats Restaurant Brokers. And tell us again where it can be found at.
Yeah. Also, reach out to me if you want to sell your restaurant. I'm one of the few people that specialize in selling restaurants in the nation. You can find me at eatsbrokers.com. EATSbrokers.com. Eatsbrokers.com.
Awesome. And what about your social media?
I'm on Instagram. I'm at restaurant_broker. Restaurant_broker.
Awesome. Dominique, we appreciate your time, man. We're looking forward to seeing you grow. Have a